spirituality is a weird word. What does that mean?
It's a very taboo word. It's a very abused word.
It's abused, for sure. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's where it gets weird.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. When I speak about spirituality, I'm speaking about something that really can't be put into words. It's unfathomable. Our language isn't designed to talk about this stuff. Mm-hmm. When we look at Orwell and Newspeak, there's certain words that don't exist for this stuff. You'd have to use a ancient language, and even ancient language you try to translate to English, it's like we don't have a word for this. You ever had to? Yeah. You've seen that
like
before,
ancient Hebrew when they try to translate things.
Right.
Ancient Hebrew, all the numbers were actually, all the letters rather were actually numbers as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you know when you talk about halos that the original halo was a mushroom cap?
What?
Yeah.
A mushroom cap.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about? Okay, I got you.
The original halo was. Well, there's a book called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. It's by John Marco Allegro, and he was a biblical scholar that was one of the guys that was assigned to decipher the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is the oldest version of the Bible.
Yes.
It's the only one I think that they've ever found. It's written in Aramaic, and it was found in Qumran and these clay jars, and it's all written on animal skins to decipher it. They actually had to run DNA tests on the animal skins to figure out which skins belonged to which animal, so they could put all the stuff together to figure out all these pieces were a part of this one scroll.
Yeah.
Well, this guy John Marco Allegro studied it for 14 years, and it was his conclusion after he was done that the entire Christian religion was a giant misunderstanding. And what it was originally about was the consumption of psychedelic mushrooms and fertility rituals. And they started doing all of these different scholars who studied ancient art and ancient religious art. They started finding this mushroom iconography and all this ancient artwork. And one of the things they noticed is that the bottom of a mushroom, if you take particularly the Amanita muscaria mushroom, which is the one that they connect to the Christian religion. Look at the bottom of it. See what it looks like with all those lines.
Yeah.
Now look at that. That was the original halo. Okay. And if you see that picture with Jesus with the halo around his head, the halo was essentially the bottom of a mushroom cap. And the idea, they believe, was that these people were the ones that were consuming the psychedelic mushrooms, so they had this great wisdom and this connection to God. That's what they thought mana was. That's what they thought these psychedelic mushrooms were, the flesh of God.
I like that.
Yeah, and so that when you have these ancient religions that were possibly based on the consumptions of these psychedelic mushrooms, all that stuff has kind of been lost in the translation over years and years and years, and then even the visualization of the halos changed.
Yeah.
And there's also some really crazy ones of naked people dancing in ecstasy surrounded by this translucent mushroom image. So the idea that they were in these mushroom-induced euphoric states and that they were dancing around, all these religious depictions.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Because if you think about ancient religions, right? No science. They had no idea what shape the world was. They didn't know anything. But they did know if you found these mushrooms and you took them, you'd trip your fucking balls off.
Right.
And you would have this incredible experience. And they thought that was God. That was their connection to God. So there's...
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's a great book, and the Catholic Church actually bought it out. And they got rid of it, and then you could only buy used copies of it, but then it was republished recently. Over the last few years, someone got the rights to it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's intense stuff.
Yeah, I like that conversation.
Yeah.
That's sexy. Anything that goes away from the norm, I think is real sexy. It needs to be talked about.
This mushroom is figuring to be very prominently important for saving bees. And that's where our research has been astonishingly interesting lately.
And where is that thing that you had brought in? What is that? What's going on there?
This is so to get some context to this, I think shamanistically, mushrooms, plants, animals become important because of a plurality, a multiplicity of benefits. This is one example. Not only revolutionized warfare, not only allow for the portability of fire for us to save ourselves from the coldness. And, we migrated into Europe from Africa. Not only did beekeepers use it for smoking, but fly fishermen use it also for drying flies. But we have found that this mushroom is extremely powerful for reducing viruses that harm bees. And it's been described today in CNN, a insect apocalypse. 40% of insects are under threat. This just came out, and this is really an all hands on deck moment. But I'm optimistic because I think we can find solutions in nature. So with my colleagues, and when I was here before, I talked about my work with the BioShield Biodefense Program, and these wood conchs are very strong in antiviral properties against flu viruses and herpes, etc. I use these ideas, and actually I had a waking dream, and I realized that the bees were being infected by mites with viruses, and the deformed wing virus in particular is the worst virus. And so I contacted Washington State University. We started doing some research, and I'm really, really happy because I love skeptics who become my supporters. We published in Nature. Only 7% of the articles submitted to Nature get published, the Nature publication ecosystem. To this day, our articles in the top 1% of all articles ever published in the Nature publication ecosystem. Now that's phenomenal because that's the most credible scientific journal in the world.
There it is right there. Extracts of polypore mushroom mycelia reduce viruses in honeybees.
And this mushroom, the Amadou, reduces the deformed wing virus 800 times to 1 with one treatment. And then the reishi mushroom mycelium reduces the Lake Sinai virus more than 45,000 to 1. Now, these are wood conchs that grow in trees. And we all grew up with Winnie the Pooh, but no one made the connection before me, apparently, that bees are attracted to rotted wood because of immunological benefit. So Amadou and reishi mushrooms, we found, and we published in this article, that high significance. And I think the reason why this article is in the top 1% of all Nature articles is that I've been able to present the theory with proof now that a natural product can have a broader bioshield of benefits than a pure pharmaceutical. Up to this time, there's been no agents to reduce viruses in bees. Now, the deformed wing virus is being vectored by the varroa mite, came in 1984, and it injects viruses into bees. And so it's like a dirty syringe. And these viruses debilitate the bees and shorten their ability to fly. Now, look at that poor bumblebee.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
I mean, that is so sad because that bumblebee can't fly. Now, bees can pollinate up to 1,000 flowers a day, and the average flight time of like honeybees used to be 9 days, 1,000 flowers a day. Every almond you eat was visited by a bee. So one bee can pollinate 1,000 flowers a day. 9 days was our pollination flight time. Now it's been shortened to 4 days. So we lost by 50%. In the CNN article that we just showed, in China now, they're hand pollinating flowers.
Yeah, with paintbrushes.
Paint of apples.
Yeah.
So apples, cherries, almonds, strawberries,
because
tomatoes,
of the lack of bees.
Because of the absence of bees. So it's really, it's all hands on deck. This is, I'm really optimistic about the future because we have solutions in nature that we can now amplify and be able to deploy. And so one of my inventions, and I'm giving these away, the 10,000 of these for free, I've come up with a citizen scientist bee feeder that puts these extracts into sugar water. And we have a sign up sheet up. It's for free. It says fungi.com/bees. And we're going to give away the first 10,000 of these. And this basically allows citizen scientists to help wild bees because wild bees are giving about 80% of the benefits. And if you scroll down, we just got the CGI done. If you go all the way down and then click on that video, and we just so here's the bee feeder.
And this is available on YouTube, folks. It says bee mushroomed feeder, bee mushroomed, all one word, and then feeder.
Yeah, and now watch. That's the bees visiting, and they're taking the sugar water.
Look how much they're sucking out of it, those little greedy bastards.
Yeah, and
that's crazy how it goes away so quickly.
And this is a maze, and bees are better at navigating mazes, and so you can see the bees going in and out. My grandson, who was afraid of bees, was really fascinated by this, so I got him to do this. And so these are something that we're going to make these available all over. And then I want to create vertical gardens in apartment buildings. The bees only fly up 200 feet. You create ladders then, ecological ladders. And then this is why the citizen scientists all over the world can take action to be able to help bees from collapsing. And then you station these in neighborhoods for bumblebees, for other types of bees. And then we have it with a Wi-Fi enabled device with solar panels. And then we upload into the cloud all this data about bee pollination visits.
Whoa.
So we can create a metric on the baseline of bee pollination services. So if you see bees that are declining and suddenly below a baseline, in Oklahoma, 2 years ago, 84% of the beehives died. Now think if you're a cattle rancher and you lost 84% of your cattle. So the idea is to help bees' immune system, and if we create baselines with these bee feeders, upload the data, and this becomes a new form of internet because they have Wi-Fi ability. So it's a distributed network as well. But
where is the Wi-Fi on that?
Well, we don't have. This is in development right now. We're working with a very, very large computer company who's making all the instrumentation, and they're into big data. So we have a solar panel going in here. We have blue LED lights because bees are attracted to blue light, and they'll count the number of bees going in and out. And since bees are only flying in the daytime, we don't need a battery. And so the solar power will then upload the data into the cloud. And then we'll create mega data sets. And then we can look at Africa, Indonesia.
How is it going to upload into the cloud? What is it using?
Is it using LTE?
Oh, so it's
signal?
using like a cellular system.
A cellular system or low-frequency, long-range communication systems.
Can we help? Can we contribute? Is there a way that this podcast can help?
A lot. I want to enable people with solutions that they can teach their children the importance of natural systems, and they can take action.
This seems like a great one. I mean, I love this idea. I think it's awesome.
I can afford to give away 10,000. I talked to this computer company that everybody knows, but they asked me not to use their name, and they asked how many do we need. I said about 10 billion. Billion. And but I will do up to my capacity, and then I'm hoping that we're going to give these away for free, and then eventually we'll create networks of hubs where I have now 40 patents on this and helping bees survive from these extracts, but not in Indonesia, not in India, not in Africa, not in China, not in Japan. I've open sourced it for most of the world. I'm basically I'm going to commercialize it so the haves can help the have-nots. And I think a lot of people want to help, and we're thinking about different ways of doing this. I'm open to all ideas, but the idea is to get maybe one person to sponsor 10 other people. They have a distributed network, their own social media community, where they end up getting in schools. We will open source the code for 3D printers. So that's really important for schools. So the code's going to be open sourced. But then if somebody wanted to make millions of these and sell them, of course, I wouldn't be happy with that. They have to work with me. But individually, we can empower individuals and schools to have the open source 3D printing codes.
We just have to make it trendy to have one of these in your house. Like, look, I'm helping. I'm helping the bees.
Hey,
if we just did that, it would really make a big difference. I know that's a gross way to look at it, but that works.
My grandson Kai is a perfect example. He was shuddering in fear of coming near to this. And my friend, Dr. Steve Shepard, entomologist, taught me something about bees I didn't know. Bees are moving so fast, and we look like we're moving slow. But if you move really slow, the bees think you're a statue. And so my grandson and Kai, I said, look at this, and you could see underneath, you can see the bees going in and out. I said, to move really slow. And then he got fascinated watching the bees. So he overcame his fear of bees. He was excited that he's helping bees survive. Now we've created something intergenerationally. And saving the bees is the number one bridge concept between conservatives and liberals. Everyone wants to save the bees.
That's number one?
It's a number one bridge issue between mending the fence, so to speak, across the political and social divide. Everybody wants to save the bees. So this is an actionable solution, and the scientific data out there is pretty disturbing. 75% of flying insects in the past 27 years, in a report from Germany that just came out, have disappeared. Now, many of your listeners are out in the country. I grew up in the country. Remember all the bug splatter you used to have against your windshield? You don't see that anymore because the insects are dying because of exposure to pesticides monoculture. When you have monoculture, you have what's called pollination deserts. When you have lots of biodiversity, lots of plants and diversity, the plants are pollinating at different times of the season. When you do to a monoculture, all the plants, like almonds, will all produce flowers all at once, and then there's no pollen available. So the immune system of the bees, due to factory farming, loss of habitat, deforestation, glyphosates, heavy metals, pollution, all those things are cofactors. But the nail in the coffin is by far these viruses. And so immunologically empowering and supporting the immune system of bees then it gives the bees the opportunity or the ability to be able to survive longer, do more pollination.
Is there a specific source of these viruses that they can isolate? Or are these a new thing?
Well, actually, there's a slide that just shows the pandemic spread of these viruses throughout the world. They came from Asia, and it's now a global pandemic. All bees in the world are now infected with these viruses because when the infected honeybee, for instance, visits the flower, it leaves viral particles.
In the flower.
And the flower. And then a wild bumblebee comes, visits it, and it becomes infected. So there is a unfortunate, I don't want to use the word perfect storm, it's a terrible storm of cofactors. And because, 80% of the benefit that farmers receive is from wild bees.
Right.
But we can't count them. And, I have beehives, and what happens in colony collapse, you go out on Monday, the bees are happy, you go out on Thursday, they're all gone. I mean, it's
really? It's that quick?
That quick. And it's not like there's hundreds of dead bees around your beehive. They're just gone. And there could be hundreds of pounds of honey, and the bees, they're gone.
So they go off somewhere to die?
What happens is because the newly hatched bees are called nurse bees, and the nurse bees take care of the baby bees. But when the colony senses there's not enough pollen and food to support the brood and the colony, the nurse bees are prematurely recruited to go out and find pollen, so they abandon the babies, and then the varroa mites are uncontrolled, and they start injecting viruses. And so there are other cofactors, just like when you get an infection from a viral infection, you can get bacterial infections. And so there's a cascade of opportunistic infections as immunology is decreased because of these viruses. So
wasn't there a contributing factor that had to do with cell phones as well?
I'm really glad you brought that up. This is a contributing factor. I have not seen convincing evidence as a hypothesis that's not fully fleshed out. There are some people quite adamant in their belief in this, but I'm driven by science and data. The rhythms, the frequency of the high of cell phones, there's an argument that's made is not in the same cosine wave of the wavelengths that we experience in nature. And so this is disruptive. I understand that. I'm still on the fence. I'd like to see really strong data and scientific evidence of that. But it's a hypothesis that needs to be tested. That's why we're looking also at low-frequency, long-range communication systems.
I think I told you this story. If I didn't, I apologize. But when we were on Fear Factor, we had a bee stunt where we had to cover these people in bees. And a local bee colony flew in to check out what was going on. And those bees and the bees that were brought there met in the sky and worked it out. And the beekeeper told us, okay, we have to shut down and everybody's got to back out of here. So we had to shut down everything and back out for like about an hour, at least a half hour, while these bees communicated with each other. So they're flying, a giant swarm of them flying in the air, trying to figure out why, hey, what are you guys here for? What are you doing? Why are you in our neighborhood? Like, oh, we're not moving in. We're just filming a TV show. Like, they had to work it out.
That is so unusual.
It was really weird.
That's extraordinary. You know? So when a new queen splits from a hive, a colony, they then take a big group of them with them. So it's all about protecting the queen.
I just don't understand how they worked it out. There was no fight to the death. There was no nothing. They just sort of worked it out. And the other bees took off, and the bees that were there came back to their little colony.
Yeah, there's a lot of this is also I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's also speaks to what's called bee drift. And so when we publish our article in Nature Scientific Reports, actually I think the data is understated, because 10 to up to 20% of bees will drift from one colony to another. So we had treatment colonies and we had treated colonies. Well, because 10 to 20% of the bees in the treated colonies went to the control colonies, we actually diluted the differential because we had cross movement of control bees and beehive versus treated bees. And so when we actually, I think, some of my other co-authors thinks we actually have understated the data. But when you look at the p-values of significance, they're extraordinary. P is less than 0.009, and that for scientists is an extraordinarily significant data set that is clearly showing the evidence that these extracts help the immunity of bees and help them be able to survive and do a better job.
That's awesome, and it's crazy that it's just a natural mushroom, but it makes sense what you're saying, that they built their beehives in these rotting trees knowing that these fungi were there, or somehow or another being attracted to it.
I like to say the first 5 seconds that I got the first patent award, my ego did swell, and then 10 seconds later I said, are you frigging kidding? We're Neanderthals with nuclear weapons. How could I be the first one to have discovered that bees benefit from mycelium immunologically? But there's no what's called prior art. There's no evidence. And I mean, think of that. We have the intelligence of nature underneath our feet. And this is something we need to tap into. And the fact that we can show a natural product, if you had HPV, HIV, and you went to a doctor 12 days after having one treatment of these extracts, and your viruses dropped 45,000 to 1, any physician would say, wow, you're doing really well. And this is what we'll be able to see. Now, we've been trying to find what's called the mode of action. How are these viruses actually being reduced? Putatively, our strongest hypothesis now is as providing essential nutrients that are important for the immune system to activate gene sequences that attack the viruses and give a more host defensive immunity of protection of a further infection.
Now, does this work with humans as well? Like chaga is supposed to be good for your immune system, right?
Well, this is a great convergence. So traditional Chinese medicine and European medicine and medicine from indigenous peoples all over the world have been using these mushrooms. Is that now we're finding scientific evidence that folklorically the reputation of chaga, of reishi, of these mushrooms helping the immunity of humans, this is translational medicine. So, but bees is an animal clinical study. Bees have been stated as being, besides Drosophila, the second most well-studied animal in the world. This is a animal clinical study past digestion, past what's called the cytochrome P450 pathway, which is your detoxification pathway, mostly in our liver. All animals use the cytochrome P450 pathway to break down toxins. And it's past the microbiome into the blood. So this is an animal clinical study. And I think it's a gateway for us to take this as credible evidence that natural products can be more useful and offer a broader bioshield of benefits than pure pharmaceuticals that go after one molecule with one target, one set of receptors. Our immunological fields have developed in the complexity of nature. This is what our foods are. We're in constant biomolecular communication with the ecosystem. We've evolved in this complex molecular environment. And so our immune systems are upregulated through multiple stimuli. And that's why I think these extracts, because of their complexity, they build upon the complexity of natural systems that help our immune system.
So you have hope that this is something that we could eventually see being like a peer-reviewed, proven thing for human beings as well?
Absolutely. I do believe that's on the near event horizon. There's a lot of researchers now.
Pull this thing up closer to you a little bit there.
I believe it's on the near event horizon. It's something that we're going to see more and more. There's lots of clinical studies. For physicians, it's no branding, no selling of anything. I populate a website called mushroomreferences.com. I populate specifically for physicians. I just spoke at Singularity University, Stanford Medical School, in front of 1,000 physicians. I try to make the bridge of the credibility of the science for physicians who are just not educated yet because they don't have the resources or the time. So mushroomreferences.com, you can go to that website. It's got hundreds of references that then you can put in any symptom or species, et cetera, and you'll be able to find the peer-reviewed references. There's about 30 references, for instance, on psilocybin right now, which is an area of research that I'm particularly focused on.
What's happening, man? How are you?
Good to be in LA.
Good to have you here. I've been a fan of your work for a long time, man, and I got really excited when I found out that you were writing a book on psychedelics. And I'm just, I think it's an amazing subject, and I'm glad someone who's respected like yourself is getting it. It's a crackpot subject, right? It's one of those subjects you're like, oh no, Michael Pollan found drugs. Like, what's he doing? He's having a crisis. He's out there doing mushrooms.
It is a bit of a departure. I think that there are people who are expecting another book on food or agriculture, and we're a little surprised. But so far, people have been following me, who cared about food and ag, and there's more overlap than I ever would have guessed.
I think you caught the perfect wave. I think your book is coming out right when John Hopkins Research Center is starting to put out these studies on it. People are starting to recognize that MDMA has amazing results for post-traumatic stress disorder from veterans, and marijuana is becoming legal in more and more states. It's like you're catching this wave.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. You never know where the culture is going to be because you start a book years before.
How long did you start it?
Well, I started the research in 2014. I wrote a piece for The New Yorker called The Trip Treatment, which is online, and it was my first foray into this work. I went down to Hopkins and spent a lot of time at NYU. And at the time, they were doing this really interesting trial where they were giving psilocybin to people with cancer diagnoses, many of whom were terminal. And that seemed like such a weird idea to me that I was curious to explore it. And I spent a lot of time talking to patients, many of whom were dying, about how this single high-dose psilocybin experience, a guided psilocybin experience, and we should talk a little bit about how the guided changes things for, it's not, the image people have is popping some mushrooms in your mouth and maybe going to a concert or going to the beach, but this is a very controlled internal experience. Completely reset these people's attitude toward death and allowed them to die with equanimity and when these results were published just last year, they found that in 80% of the people who had the session, they had statistically significant reductions in standard measures of depression and anxiety. It was one of the most effective psychiatric interventions that these psychiatrists had ever seen, which is amazing, a single experience. And that a molecule could change the contents of your head to the extent that you would rethink your mortality. And so as I began talking to these people and hearing their stories, many of which were just remarkable, I realized, this is not just an article. There's a book here. And there's so much, there are two kinds of articles you write as a journalist. One is you're sick of the topic by the time you finish and you can't wait to be done. And the other is, God, I just scratched the surface. And this was one of those.
Did you have any experiences personally with psychedelics before you wrote this book?
Very limited. I, for some peculiar reason, never did psychedelics in college. They just weren't around. I went I went to the wrong school.
What school did you go to?
And it was like a very kind of progressive hippie school. I went to Bennington College in Vermont.
Speaking of mushrooms, this is something that I get wrong all the time. This is one of the other things I wanted to ask you. What is, there's some very close relationship that mushrooms have and the absorption of mushrooms have to DMT. Mm-hmm. What is the chemical differentiation?
Okay, very, very slight, actually. The temptation to start drawing structures is almost irresistible.
You want to write some stuff down? Go ahead.
Well,
draw it down. It'd be awesome. Here's a pen.
Do we have a visual?
No, we don't,
component
but
to
I'll
this?
save that piece of paper.
Okay. Well, I don't want to get too far into it, but basically, okay, so you've had organic chemistry, yeah?
No.
No? Okay. Well, then this may
I
be
am organic chemistry.
Yeah, you are. Well, you are organic chemistry. Well, this may be a useless thing, but
it's definitely not useless. Here we go.
go.
We can see it up on the wall here. We've got it up on the screen.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, we don't have to draw a structure.
You could look at it right here, so you don't have to turn around. Look to your right, Dennis. Turn and look. It's on this one as well.
Okay. So right. So you can see so there's serotonin, psilocin, and dimethyltryptamine.
Wow.
You can see that psilocin and dimethyltryptamine are very close in structure. The only difference is that hydroxy group, that OH group.
That's the only difference. So with that removed, psilocin is exactly the same thing as N,N-dimethyltryptamine.
That's correct.
Wow.
But that single trivial difference is what makes psilocin orally active and dimethyltryptamine is not.
Wow. Wow.
Because what's going on with that, the static diagram deletion, a different molecular model would show. But what's going on is that nitrogen there, when silicon's in physiological solution, the nitrogen is charged, has a positive charge. The oxygen doesn't have the H there. It has a negative charge. So the nitrogen curls back and is in close association with the oxygen, if this makes any sense.
Yeah, no,
so the enzyme can't get to it. That's why it's orally active, because essentially it can't get to that nitrogen. What that enzyme does is cleave off that nitrogen, monoamine oxidase. It takes away that nitrogen. And it can't do it with psilocin. So that's why psilocin's orally active. It doesn't require an MAO inhibitor. It's just, in some ways, it's the perfect psychedelic because it, no preparation needed. You just bend over and pick the mushroom. No preparation is required, which is probably why very ancient man knew about psilocybin. They couldn't not have if they were living in an environment where it was found.
That doesn't give you that part,
Yeah.
What was the so you had gone through a series of ketamine therapy.
Oh yeah. I did the TMS, because I was looking at the last time I was here was
that
last
transdermal
August.
magnetic stimulation?
Transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Okay. And
which worked.
that-
And then the problem was, and I don't know if I talked about it on here or not. Someone gave me some HGH. Did I tell you that?
Human growth hormone.
Yeah. Basically, so I did TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation, 45 sessions. It worked great. Like it literally,
How long
I
does it
stopped
take?
taking. It takes like 35 minutes.
And they just put like electrodes on you or
Yeah,
something?
I think I have video. They put video on. I'm looking. Chris Rock sends me every single rape thing.
Oh my God. Everything that comes
Literally
out?
every page 6. Literally, he sent me
Why does he do
probably
that?
25 of these. I don't know. It's just like a thing now, because then we go like, it's just like literally, it's just like a ticker. Dude, it's so fucking funny.
There's so many guys. Mario Batali. And,
Yeah.
and by the way, the more salacious they can make these stories, the better. They were talking about some room that Mario would take people up to on the third
Yep.
floor is the rape room.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the fuck? Oh,
You
there
know
you
what
are,
makes me
dude.
laugh is the
There's
you
you.
have it. Yeah. You know what makes me laugh is the pictures of Louis got progressively worse and worse.
Oh, the ones they could find?
Yeah, like the New York Times. I was waiting for them to just put up a picture of Lee Harvey Oswald. It's like he's fucking. You don't have to find the shittiest, the guiltiest looking picture.
Well,
of
there's
fucking-
so much video of him beating off, like air beating off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Play that video. Like, this is you going through
is
the
this for the
treatment?
last time I was here, or this is online?
Yes, from last time you were here.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that, man. Give me some volume.
You're probably him talking about it.
went to this.
Whoa, dude. That sound is like an MRI sound.
It's an Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. We
yeah.
talked about it the last time you were
Yeah.
here.
But okay, so then the problem was after that I did HGH. Someone gave me some HGH, and I was like, yeah, I'll fucking take it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'll take HGH. I'm always looking for an advantage, and I started having panic attacks.
From HGH.
Yes, which is it's a narrow side effect, but it's one of the side effects of HGH. Basically, it like supercharged my whole system. I started having panic attacks on stage.
Whoa.
I had a panic attack the night before I taped 3 mics.
What?
I couldn't go on stage. Spade was supposed to bring me on, and I told Adam, I was like, I can't go on. I literally couldn't breathe.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The
So-
night before
yes,
you're filming.
it was
What a
so,
mind
and then
fuck.
I thankfully
But you
didn't-
killed it.
Yes, I thankfully didn't get one that night. Like,
Oh my God.
dude, trust me. Trust me. And then I had anxiety for months. Literally, like like when people say I have anxiety, I'd never had anxiety. I was like, I'm not an anxious person. I wouldn't even know what that's like.
Wow.
It's fucking miserable.
Wow.
To me, it was worse than depression because you're agitated and like you just feel like static. It just was like a static over your body. It was like you just have like this like cortisol snow in and it sucked. So I went back on Zoloft. and then it ended the anxiety.
Now, but you were trying to get yourself off of that stuff.
So now
right?
I'm gonna go. I'm back on. I just stopped taking Zoloft like 2 weeks ago.
How do you
Because
feel?
can't. I feel actually really good. Because here's what I didn't say. I also microdosed while I was on Zoloft. I microdosed shrooms like 3 times.
Yeah.
Which is actually like pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun, but it's like not.
Daunting.
It's not. You're not like. It's not trippy.
Right.
You're not
You
like.
just feel really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just feel good. I did that 3 times. I did LSD once, and I'm thinking of. So now I'm going off, and an interesting thing happened when I microdosed. I got significantly less angry, just as like an operating principle. Like I was just like, oh, I'm less angry. Like I just didn't feel as like snappy and shitty.
Yeah.
Like over a big period.
I got a buddy of mine who's a world champion kickboxer. He microdoses and he fights on it. Fights high on mushrooms.
Do they test for it, or
Nope.
it's just?
Nope.
That's funny.
Fucking people up while he's on mushrooms.
That's great.
And I mean, better than he's ever looked in his past. He said he could see things coming before they happen.
Yep.
He said he literally feels like he's got some sort of psychic ability when he's sparring. Like he sees what guys are doing. And if you watch him fight, he just looks way sharper than he's ever looked before.
Yeah.
And homeboy's doing mushrooms.
Yeah. And that's so I've stopped taking Zoloft because you can't be on it and do Ibogaine.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
you can you risk serotonin syndrome, which is like
Right.
too much serotonin in your body, or too much serotonin.
Well,
So-
you were the first guy to tell me about 5-HTP before we even started selling it at
Yeah.
On It. Before we started having
Yeah.
New Mood, you were telling me about 5-HTP.
Yeah.
And that you were
Sandy
taking that.
Danto told me about it.
No shit.
Yeah, because
Wow.
he sold me some ecstasy, and he was like, "Yeah, and also take this the next day." And I was like, "Okay." And then I like researched it, and I was like, "Oh, I should just take." So I still take that. 5-HTP, I think, is good for weight loss.
Really?
It like when I take 5-HTP, I'm just not hungry. It like that was the other sort of weird side effect of the microdosing. My appetite went down like significantly across the board.
Wonder how much of the appetite is not really how much food you need, but rather you need something to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or it's just a like at this time of day I do this. But I ended up like losing 10 pounds.
That's interesting.
Me, like
you're a
from
thin guy.
150 I've lost 12 pounds from like 159 to 147.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but it's not like not starving myself or anything.
Right.
Just
You
like,
didn't feel uncomfortable.
No, not at all. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you monitor your diet? Are you eating healthy?
Yeah, like I got my blood tested probably 3 months ago, and everything was good.
Are you eating sugar and bread and things along those lines?
I've stopped. I used to be a big dessert person, and I kind of just like, I think the mushrooms might have made me just go like, you don't need that.
You don't. You really
and
don't.
sugar, the thing with sugar is you don't eat it for 3 days if you don't want it.
Right.
Like your body doesn't like, you got to fucking get us some sugar. You're just like, I'm good.
Once you cut free.
Yeah.
And especially if you're really conscious about what you're eating in terms of like probiotics and things that sort of help the landscape, the biome landscape, and make sure you've got healthy things in there. I think that's so significant. And the more researchers that I talk to and the more people that are nutrition experts to start talking about your gut biome and how important it is to take the proper probiotics.
Yeah.
I think it affects your personality. I think it affects your immune system. I think it affects virtually the path of your life that you take. Depending upon what foods you eat, it has a different effect on how you live your life.
Well, that's meditation does the same thing, because you're like, you get a feeling from meditation, and then you're like, do I want to spoil this?
Right.
With like garbage thinking or behavior. Like, let me just try to bring a bit of that into my everyday.
Yeah. I mean, that's the tank for me.
Yeah.
The tank is to
I
me.
literally forgot about tanks until you, and I'm like, I live like a block from Float Lab.
You got to go.
Like I went, I think you must, how long you been doing this?
2002 was the first time I got one.
When
I
did
tried
you
it
When
once
did you start
before.
doing the podcast? I think you told me about it.
2008?
You told me
Nine?
about it. I
Nine.
went to Float Lab, had the thought in the tank, you got to love something. Literally, that was the thought I had, and then I got a dog. Literally, like, so I was like, I fucking
Yeah.
like that. I like that shit. Like, and I just forget that it exists.
The tanks?
Yeah.
I think they're giant. I think it's like one of those. It's one of those things that requires you to block off a chunk of your time. So if you're a busy person, it's hard to pull that off. But I think it's like one of the most important things you could do.
How often do you do it?
Well, I haven't done it in a long time because I took the one out of my basement and I had it installed here. So it took me a few times off, and we just got it put in 2 days ago. So I haven't even been in it. So I haven't been a tank at all in 3 months.
Oh wow,
2 months, something like that.
how often do you think you'll do it now?
Couple days a week. Couple days a week
Great.
is good. If I can give myself 2 days a week, I'm happy.
Do you ever go in and just think about your daughters?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Like, is it so? It's not
I don't like have a plan.
right.
Sometimes I have a plan. Like maybe I'll have a bit that I'm trying to work out, and I just like this bit is just clunky. There's a part of it that's clunky. I'll smoke some pot and climb in that tank and think about it.
There's there's like a fucking syllabus for the ibogaine, and it's like you need to come with questions for ibogaine.
Whoa.
For Sweet Lady Ibogaine.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I have to and then a friend of mine was like, can you ask a question for me? It's like, no, I don't think that's legal. Like, he'd be like, hey, so Lucy
Lucy needs advice on her new
Lucy's
book, man.
curious about what's going on with her feet. Yeah, but I'm like looking forward to asking big questions. Although I gotta say, the last year has been very revealing for me in terms of like what's important.
There it is. There's Action Bronson. That dude smoked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blunts in the course of one podcast.
He had one in his hand, I think.
That's
that
right.
Didn't get
Constantly.
in.
That's crazy.
He went hard. He just keeps going.
I don't have the weed tolerance like I have the booze tolerance.
How do you feel about spliffs in here?
You love them. You
Fire
do
up.
you,
Fire
Gary.
up. We
Gary.
have a machine. We have
I won't
a.
do
We
that,
have,
'cause
There's no
I feel
rules
bad.
here.
We have a. We have a
bad
fan. We have a. This room is set up for
Why
smokers.
do you feel bad?
Okay.
Yeah,
Dude, smoking a blunt over
Jamie's
here.
going to turn the fan on. It'll suck all the air out of the room and connect us with Jesus. Look at that. It's a fan.
Wow.
Yeah, we set it up. When we built this room, we had it set it up for Dice Clay.
Okay.
Dice likes to smoke. Oh! So he would come in and smoke, and I would never want to tell him not to smoke. So I bought, because I'm just happy he's here. So I bought him, an air machine
Oh, my
that would like
God.
process the air while he was there.
Just for Andrew
Just for
Dice
Andrew
Clay.
Dice Clay.
That's
And then
amazing.
Stanhope used it. I was like, perfect. All right, now we got one for smokers. So fire up that spliff, kind sir.
I mean,
Do not be scared.
all right.
Young Jamie's impervious to all forms of intoxication. He's probably from another planet. If anyone visits us from afar and is like just
It's
down here to
Jamie.
contribute, it's Jamie. That fucking dude, he eats 1,000 milligrams of THC. No lie.
What?
And I'm like, how are you? He's like, I'm fine. It just
That's
doesn't seem to
insane.
work.
Really?
150.
1250. Excuse me. Pardon me. I have insulted
Jesus, Mary
our
and Joseph.
host from afar. Yeah. 1250.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
He's an alien.
And also inspired.
Well, you know, like sheep can't eat like a certain grass and they'll die. They eat phalaris grass. They're fucking DMT kills
No,
sheep.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
DMT.
you can take it. It's a part of your brain. But if a sheep gets a hold of it, like they just die. Legs sticking up near, twitching. It turns out they ate a DMT rich concentrated patch of grass.
Oh my God.
It fucking kills them dead in their tracks. Like farmers in certain areas would find these sheep like legs up.
No way.
Yeah.
The last time I smoked DMT, I was in the bathtub and I was, prepared to have a moment, and I got myself all situated and I like lit up, and then I hear like knock, 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 and I'm like, I get up and I put a robe on and I go to the front door, and my old landlord Carlos was like, Miss Susie, the ceiling is leaking, and my bathtub was leaking.
Oh no.
And I was
You didn't know?
No, and I was very high.
Oh no!
And it was a terrifying experience.
Oh my god, you're DMT high, so you're pixelated and shit.
And P.S. though, it was kind of old, so I didn't get as like.
You didn't get a solid hit.
No, but I got enough of a hit to be fucked up with my landlord knocking on my door when I was a little high on DMT. So anyway,
That's not
I
good.
haven't smoked it since. I'd like to at some point, but
Call Duncan Trussell 24/7 and the hour of the day for incantations
wouldn't
and
I call-
wizardry.
Wouldn't I call Joe Rogan?
Shh, the government is listening.
That's what I thought.
Do not say that over the air.
This is going to be edited.
Hold this for later. They should get in on it too. I'm with you guys. I want to
I think
protect
they are
everything.
in on it.
They should be. They
Yeah.
should be. They're missing the point. Well, there's like the drug users versus fucking law enforcement. You guys should be on drugs. If you want to do good law enforcement, you should all be on mushrooms. That's what we should have. Every cop on mushrooms. Like he'll know which kid he can hug. Don't shoot him. Just hug him. Just run up and hug him.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
He'll know. He'll know. You'll feel it. You'll feel it in your soul. Like that kid just needs a hug. He fucking doesn't know his dad. You just run up on him. You know that his dad's in prison right now. That guy's dad's a bank robber. That guy, he's a kid. He's a baby.
I'm not mad at that, Elizabeth. I'm with you.
That's what I think. All cops. See, Andrew Yang had a great idea. Is all cops should be purple belts in jiu-jitsu, which
really?
I agree with. I think
All
it's a
right.
great idea. So you should have some understanding of how to defend yourself if someone tries to grab you and get your gun. I 100% agree with that. But also, why not be on mushrooms too? Why are you playing games? Come on, man. You're out there life and death in the streets.
Yeah, this bill
You
is
should
going
be
to
like
go a long
fucking
way.
Dr. Manhattan. Just, just levitating through the city, trying to teach people the right way. Come on, we can all work together.
Agreed.
We'll all be a part of love.
Oh,
Yeah,
the one.
I think it's possible.
yeah.
I think we just need to adjust the chemicals that we have, just like you've done with exercise, and some people have done with medication, or meditation and medication. Some people do with music. It adjusts the chemicals, and I think every way that we know of that's beneficial to adjust the chemicals, whether it's through yoga or meditation or love or music or comedy or anything you can find that puts you in a better place, we should embrace that. And
Agreed.
mushrooms are one of those things.
Agreed.
Right? You shouldn't listen to ACD Highway to Hell all day long. ACDC Highway to Hell 24/7 is going to be a bummer, man. I mean, you might like the first 2 or 3 plays.
I wouldn't like that shit at all, bro. I wouldn't like that shit at all.
But every now and then, right? You know, it's like Billy Squire, Lonely as the Night. You don't want to hear it every day. But every now and then, when you're in a car, you know how you have that Bluetooth thing that happens when your car synced up to Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Does your car do that? Does it do
Yeah.
the Bluetooth? Where, like, randomly it'll play a song.
Yeah.
So you hear, like, some
it's
cool-
always not Alt J. It goes to the A. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot of times.
iTunes.
I told Tommy Segura that there was one of his bits would come up, like one of the first things
Vampire
when I got
Weekend.
in my
That
car.
was it. That's the one to play. Sorry.
Well, but sometimes it's a random thing too. Like sometimes it doesn't do it alphabetically; it just does it
Right.
randomly. And like you'll
Weird.
get like a cool song out of nowhere, just plays when you start your car. Like, oh, that's a drug. It's a little weird drug.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you guys do is a little weird drug.
Likewise.
All of us.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yes.
So are we drug dealers? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, in a good way.
We're like the proverbial drug dealer.
I love
think-
whenever you could use proverbial. I'm
I
on
think
your
Curtis
team.
Mayfield had a song about it.
Yeah.
We should be wearing robes.
Not that it created vision, but that it improved vision. And it was one of several things they think led to us evolving quicker. One of them was that we started experimenting with different food sources. We had more access to like bugs and rats and all these little things that we could catch. We started hunting things. Then we started using tools to figure out how to hunt things. And all during this process, we're eating weed and we're eating mushrooms. So we're probably interacting with these psychedelic compounds that people have used for thousands and thousands of years when we were primitive man. And so as we're taking these things, We're trying to figure out new ways to hunt, new ways to protect ourselves from our enemies, new ways to farm. We started inventing things. We started inventing language. I think there's a direct connection between psilocybin use and the ability to create words and language.
So really, we are just nature.
Yeah.
We just keep evolving and evolving.
Yeah. We're nature that lives in houses. That's
it.
That's what we are.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm thinking, like, so the shrooms, so really everything came from the shroom, and the shroom kind of...
Shroom used us.
Yeah, the shroom used us in growing into us to...
The shroom used us to manifest reality. The shroom used us to create life. And it's not just the shroom, it's the ideas too. Like, I think all these ideas that you get, we were talking about this earlier, like, what is an idea? If you have an idea like, hey, I'm going to invent this thing's going to benefit mankind, and you just have some crazy idea that's supposed to fix things. Maybe it sucks pollution out of the air. And then someone takes that and runs with it and improves something else. Then someone takes that and improves something. And then you're doing this on giant scales. Millions and millions and millions of people are doing this. And they're contributing to this. And they're all using ideas. They have ideas, and then they turn that idea into a physical form. And then every year they expect it to get better and better and better. Every year they innovate. Nobody ever looks at a television and goes, 72 inches, it looks clear. Let's just stop. No more TVs.
Yeah,
That's plenty
we always
big.
got to get bigger.
Always got to get bigger. Always. But why? The reward is improvement. Like, it's constantly gearing towards improvement.
It's like
We're
we
obsessed
need
with
that.
it.
It's
Yeah.
boredom. Boredom makes us do more.
And these are ideas, right? Ideas that we turn into things. And along the way, there's a bunch of shit that fuels our desire to get those things and make these things happen, like lust, like materialism. Like, maybe what materialism, where people worry about it being so empty, maybe what it is a function of getting us to invest heavily in newer, better shit so that more things accelerate faster and faster, and that these new inventions come at a faster and faster rate, because that's what we're constantly focused on, is newer, better shit. So they're constantly inventing and improving, and all the while, we're just dumping money into the birth of our successor.
Yeah, the technology. So we're just a movement. We evolved from the shrooms to the human,
to the ideas,
to
the culture, to the different cultures interacting with each other, the resistance of these cultures interacting with each other.
So really, we're just an
improvements.
organism.
We're an organism. Yeah, a fucking awesome one though.
Yeah.
I mean, no organism is having as much of a fucking good time as we.
Fuck what they talking about. Ain't nobody getting shot, and ain't nobody doing all that type of shit. That shit look boring to me.
Nobody's sending
Them
video
animals.
through the air.
Yeah, they ain't FaceTime, and they ain't nobody getting porn and shit.
Yeah, nobody's flying helicopters.
Yeah, they ain't flying
getting
like
in
that.
submarines. People are getting in submarines, man.
Yeah, I ain't never seen no lion 120 feet.
Yeah,
I done that.
Decriminalize psychedelic. What? Wait, it
worked?
passed.
It came through? Oh my God, I thought you said it didn't
That's what I
pass.
thought.
This morning it said it didn't.
15 minutes ago,
Oh,
23 minutes, I don't know.
Holy
Story.
shit.
Words.
Denver
Passed.
became the first city in the U.S. to decriminalize marijuana. Wow. Powerful Denver.
Wow.
Holy shit, man. It passed.
Denver voters approved measure to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms.
God
Congratulations,
damn, that's amazing.
Denver.
How did we think Jamie,
No,
get us
I-
better information, you son of a bitch.
They were saying
gave
that all night.
No,
disinformation.
for some reason they did
You
say.
son of a
you
bitch.
son of a bitch, Jamie.
You're working with the CIA.
It's still unofficial, apparently, though. As posted on Wednesday afternoon. Ended up polling 51. Pulled ahead this afternoon. That's why. So as of this morning, it wasn't ahead, and then they're still counting votes.
The provisions prohibit the city government from using any resources to impose criminal penalties against adults over 21 years of age or personal use or possession of psilocybin.
Hey, you don't have to talk like you're in the end of a commercial. What are you doing?
No, I do. You have
there?
to get it all out just in case.
No. That's not a disclaimer.
What if something hits us and kills us?
Nobody knows what the fuck you just said.
Yeah, they do.
Why aren't we going where the mushrooms are legal?
Too many people
Good
moving to
point.
Denver, man. Too many people.
Yeah, there's a lot of space.
Too many people are moving.
What's that
Look it up.
mean?
Look it up about Denver's problem with their infrastructure. They're hating how many people are coming into their city.
Listen, bro, you moved to Evergreen. You live in the mountains like a savage.
I'll move to Brecken. I'll move to Breckenridge.
Breckenridge? How
That's
about
what I like.
Aspen? A bunch of rich chicks
too many
doing
rich people.
coke.
Nah, Breckenridge is nice. I like Breck.
Don't you want to see girls yell at their boyfriends and scream out in the street with naked Uggs on?
Marcus, we need more money.
Is the mushroom legality, is that going to be like a doctor thing, or are they going to like...
No, it's decriminalized.
No, it's just decriminalized.
Oh, right, but is that the next step?
Decriminalized is that you don't go to jail, but you can't sell it legally. It's very squirrely, but it's what it is step one. And that's what we need.
Yeah.
We needed step one. And then it's also on the ballot in California soon. And when it's on the ballot in California soon, it has a likelier chance here, I think, than even in Denver. And more so now. The real problem is people don't understand what it is.
Right.
And they think it's just like, oh my God, these kids are going to do mushrooms, they're going to drive off cliffs. That's what people worry about.
They can do more testing now, right? Is that sort of what it helps?
Well, they've done some tests. Johns Hopkins University had some pretty extensive testing that they did that showed real positive results with people that had terminal illnesses, where it alleviated the worry of death. And there's some other studies that have been run on it, but there's so far no one has ever instituted in the United States, at least, like a real thorough, comprehensive clinic where you can go and they can treat you if you have alcohol addiction, PTSD. There's a lot of different things they can treat with psilocybin.
Yeah.
And it's been illegal because it's a Schedule I substance. So all these people, it's one of the best things on earth to fix like mental barriers and problems that you have, especially if it was done in a controlled clinical environment by people you trusted and you felt safe. And that's what a shaman's supposed to be, right? What a shaman's supposed to be is someone who provides you with these psychedelic substances in a controlled state where they let you be in a good state of mind. Set and setting is always very, very important. And if we could do that, I mean, I really think we have a real good chance at turning a lot of people around. People that are addicted to things, people with psychological problems, people that can't see themselves,
depression.
people that have a lot of different issues. And it's one of the best tools for that. But like every tool, it could be abused. But the problem is not the tool. The problem is abuse, whether it's with alcohol or pills or food or any of these things we're talking about, sex. People can abuse anything. Of
course.
But it doesn't mean that psilocybin is an amazing compound that literally can change humanity. It can.
Yeah, it has, and there's so many other things that we don't even know. We haven't even tapped into the possibilities. That's the other thing, was when you limit yourself on the possibilities, it's like, well, how do we know? How do we know what it's going to do?
What if the chip releases mushroom juice
every 15 minutes?
Just a little microdose. Just a little microdose.
No, it feels your levels when you start getting angry when the guy cuts me off and I'm like, you fucking asshole. Releases and I'm like,
a little bit of God juice.
And have you ever heard the theory that octopus are from out of space?
Yeah, we talked about that with Brian Cox the other day.
Yeah, I'm not super well read on it, but like it looks like a damn alien.
Yeah, he was very incredulous, but he's obviously smarter than both of us,
right?
So,
so he gets to be.
It's like, it's like me looking at that, going, "Man, it doesn't make sense." Of course, it doesn't make sense. I'm stupid,
right?
But he's when we're looking at this, but this is apparently like peer-reviewed, published paper about the possibility of octopus being reintroduced, and I think it has something to do with the way RNA and DNA is on them, right? Do you know?
I don't understand it well, but yes, it's like the thought that the population came from out of space because the DNA sequencing suggests something that makes it extraterrestrial adaptability.
Yeah, he was super skeptical because he was saying that they're essentially so close to everything else here that it doesn't make sense. But the other theory was it might be just this is the path of life.
Right.
And the reason why it's so close to us is that this is the way all life, even if it's extraterrestrial, gets established.
Sure. I don't believe octopus are from out of space, but I love the theory. I love the idea of it. It looks like it's from out of space. It's just wacky.
Well, it's such a cool thought.
Yeah.
That these things came from out of space. So, that's also a thought about psilocybin mushrooms from the weirder people, that they came on asteroids and they're spores.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but they've proven that I don't know about psilocybins, but certain mushroom spores are impenetrable to the vacuum of space.
Yeah, they can survive. Yeah, that's bananas.
I pick a lot of mushrooms, not psilocybins, but a lot of porcini, a lot of chanterelles. Like I do a lot of foraging. It's really fun.
Are you aware of Paul Stamets?
No, I don't know that name.
He's amazing, man. One of my favorite podcasts ever. He's a mycologist and a fucking trip in every sense of the word. A super genius mycologist who had the craziest story about being in high school. And what did he say? He took 20 grams of mushrooms and climbed a tree during a lightning storm. Like something fucking, it's something where you hear him tell the story and your hands start sweating. You're like,
no way.
20 grams or 10 grams or 20 grams, like something fucking bananas. Like
something that would kill a moose. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't kill it, but it would definitely make it think it's not a moose anymore.
Right.
And it essentially changed his life, stopped him from stuttering. He used to stutter, and he did this, and he stopped stuttering.
No way.
Yeah.
I've heard about guys that microdose with mushrooms with psilocybins, and it heightens their focus and cures their autism. And, there's, I'm not very well read on that, but there's a whole idea that microdosing with these chemicals that are naturally produced can actually have very positive effects.
Yeah, there's quite a few people who do that. It's really common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people that do that. They
Oh,
microdose
really?
with that, and they also microdose with LSD. There's a lot of that
Really?
going on. Yeah, a lot of Silicon Valley people are microdosing with LSD.
It's funny because the one person that I know that's done the microdosing with mushrooms from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, people grind them up into pill form, and in fact, a lot of fighters are doing that now. Which
Really?
is really strange. Yeah.
So why would that help you, like, as a fighter? It's not a mental focus thing. It's a physical thing at that point, right?
Well, it gets you into the flow state.
Interesting.
And so, like with fighters, the real thing is it's not just your skill, but it's your ability to execute that skill under pressure. Right? So there's an overwhelming amount of anxiety. There's extreme consequences to getting hit or going wrong, getting knocked out. The losing a fight is absolutely devastating. It's devastating emotionally. It's devastating physically. It's devastating psychologically. It changes your perception of who you are and how you fit into the world. And that sometimes, and I shouldn't say sometimes, oftentimes impedes performance.
Sure, can't come back from it, kind of thing.
Well, it's not just that. The consequences of it possibly go wrong make you hesitate, and the stress of it all is very constricting. It's very difficult to operate under that stress.
Sure.
The mushrooms, for some people, alleviate that stress and put you in this elevated state where they say, and I've never fought on mushrooms, but they say that when you're on mushrooms, you actually can see what a guy's going to do before he does it.
Interesting.
Yeah, you have a sense of what they're going to do that's a much more heightened sense than you would if you were just in a normal sober state.
So do you think you're picking that up through like biological cues? Like you could see the muscles twitching in the arm before the punch comes, or like how do you think that?
It's a good question. I haven't done it. I don't know. I've never sparred on mushrooms. Or
it doesn't sound like a good idea.
But it's really common. They say it is a good idea. The guys who do it love it.
Yeah.
Interesting. And guys have had some really extreme positive results.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I never thought as an athletic performer that athletic enhancement, that would be a thing.
Yeah. It's not just I don't think it makes you move faster or hit stronger or hit harder, but I think what it does is it puts you in the zone.
Interesting.
Like there's states that you get into where you can't do no wrong, and they're usually very elusive. They come and they go. You get them like, do you ever play pool?
A little bit. I mean,
but you know how sometimes you play pool for a few hours and then you just all of a sudden you feel like you can't miss. Yeah, you just have this feeling of where everything's going to go. That's even if you're not very good. Sometimes those will come for like 2-3 shots in a row. It's the zone.
Sure.
And that elusive state of like, and then sometimes you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm in the zone. Then it goes away.
Right.
Right. Maintaining that flow state.
Well, do you think it takes emotions out of it? Like, is that why you're in that state? Like, if you're not emotionally attached to that shot or that punch, maybe you can execute it better.
It's possible. I mean, there's a lot of speculation of what's going on and what's causing this elevated state of consciousness.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'll just start microdosing on mushrooms and going out to chase snakes around.
Maybe. Maybe you would be like more in tune with the environment.
Or maybe I'd get bitten and die.
That's true too.